Welcome back, Warhawks, to another edition of Seminole High School Carnegie Math. Today we are going over Chapter 4-4, which as you can see here is the volume of cones and pyramids. We're going to be trying to find the volume of these cones and pyramids today, and actually I think that you'll find that it's not too difficult. The formula for area of volume, the formula for volume of pyramids and cones is going to be the same. For both. The volume equals the area of the base times the height divided by 3. So the first thing we have to really realize is what type of a shape is the base. In this first example, we look down at the base of this pyramid. We see that the base is a rectangular looking figure, but because of the label of the sides, I know that it's actually a square because this side is 8 and that side is 8. So now I have to use my brain to figure out, okay, the base is a square, how am I going to find the area of the base? Well, for a square, we just multiply two adjacent sides. We're going to multiply the base times the height, so to say, for the square, which is just 8 times 8. So for the area of the base, I get 8 times 8, which is 64 units. Now I'm going to multiply it by the height of this figure. This pyramid happens to have a height here that I can see from the top of the pyramid down to the middle at a 90-degree angle. I can see that the height of this is 10 inches. So I'm going to do the area of the base, which was 64, times the height of the pyramid, which is 10. And then the last step is we're going to divide it by 3. Now some people would think to divide by 2, but actually you can fit the amount of volume of 3 pyramids into a rectangular prism that was the same size. So we do 64 times 10, which is 640. And then we take that number and we divide by 3, which ends up equaling 213.3. And we actually have a label here, inches, and volume is always measured in cubic units. So we put a little cube up there because we have 3 dimensions. So it means we could put actually 213 little 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch cubes inside of a figure that looks like this. Let's do another one here real quick. Now you notice that the formula for volume changed a little bit. For volume we have a big B here. Now that big B stands for the area of the base. So know that for the future, that the big B here stands for the area of the entire base. Again, we look what the base is of this pyramid. It's a square that has sides that are 20 by 20. So for the area of the base, we're just going to do 20 times another 20. And for the height of this pyramid, they give us the height is 11. And then we're going to divide that by 3 after we get the numbers. So volume is going to equal the area of the base, 20 times 20, times 11, the height, divided by 3. Go ahead and pause it, see if you can find the same volume that I will. So here I went ahead and did the math. I did 20 times 20 and got 400, multiplied it by 11, got 4,400, and divided that by 3, which left me with a total volume of 1,466.7 centimeters cubed for the volume of this pyramid. Now we get into a little different shape. We're talking about cones now. The formula is the same, the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Or we can think about it, because a cone always has a circle for the base, we can think about it as the area for a circle, which is pi r squared, that's going to give us the area of the base, times the height divided by 3. So for this formula, we're going to have volume will equal pi, which is 3.14, times the radius. Okay, here's our circle, 5. The radius is half the distance across the circle. So we're going to multiply that times 5 squared. Then multiply by the height of the shape, which is 12, and divide that by 3. So let's go ahead and start multiplying. 5 squared is going to give us 25. So we'll have 3.14 times 25 times 12 divided by 3. So go ahead and see if you can do that in your calculator. Hit pause and then check your math to see if it's the same as mine. So here I went ahead and did the math. I multiplied 3.14, which is pi, times 25 times 12 divided by 3, and I got 942 on top. I divided by 3, and it left me with 314 inches cubed for the volume of this shape. Let's try another one. So here we have a similar cone, but look, on the circle here, we actually are not given the radius. So I'm going to have to figure out what the radius is. This is called the diameter. It's the whole way across the circle. The radius actually ends up being half the diameter, so our radius in this case is going to equal 7. That's very important. If they give you the diameter, you need to be able to find the radius. Now we're ready to plug this into our formula. So we have pi, which is 3.14, times the radius, which is 7 squared, times the height, which is 16, divided by 3. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you here is sometimes they ask for you to leave your answer in terms of pi, which means you just don't multiply it by pi, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So let's go ahead and do the math here, and let's get an answer. Go ahead and pause it, see if your answer matches mine. So here I went ahead and multiplied everything out. 3.14 times 7, which was 49, times 16 was 2,461.76, divided it by 3, and I got that the volume of this cone happens to be 820.59. Now let me show you how to leave this in terms of pi. Sometimes they're going to ask you to leave it in terms of pi, which means you just leave it pi times 7 squared times 16 divided by 3. So let's see what happens here. So I'm still going to do the other math. I'm just not going to multiply it by pi. So I'm going to do 7 times 7, which is 49, times that by 16, and remember I'm not multiplying it by pi, so I'm going to leave it pi. So I get pi times 784, and then I'm going to divide that by 3. So 784 divided by 3 is 261.3, and then I'm just going to say pi feet cubed. So that is another acceptable answer. Now you're saying, well, that looks a lot different than this answer. It will look a lot different than that answer because you didn't multiply it by pi. You'll notice that if you multiply this number by 3.14, which is what pi is, your answers will match. So if they say leave it in terms of pi, just do everything except for multiply by pi. Just leave a pi there. The answer is actually a little more accurate because pi has not, it's a rounded number. 3.14 isn't technically the total value of pi. So this answer is a little bit more accurate than this answer right here. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in class later.